Now we're going to hear from our Executive Director, Paula Schmidt. She's going to offer some information about financial help that might be available to you and also a oneAMYLOIDOSISvoice update. Paula, go for it, babe.
Thank you, Muriel, and hi, everybody. I'm so glad that you could join us today. I'm going to update you on some of the financial assistance programs that may be available to you as amyloidosis patients. Keep in mind these update all the time, so you do need to be vigilant and check on them often. As we all know, chemotherapy drugs are very expensive, and depending on your insurance, you could have a large copay. On your screen, you will see several different charities that offer some form of financial assistance. I will post links to their websites in the chat window at the end of my presentation. These organizations may help with copays, travel costs, insurance premiums, diagnostic testing, or prescriptions. If you have AL and a blood cancer such as myeloma, lymphoma, or Waldenstrom's, you may be able to qualify for assistance due to your cancer diagnosis if they don't have a fund specific to amyloidosis. Eligibility requirements for many of these programs are dependent not only on your diagnosis, but on your financial status. So be sure to check the eligibility criteria with each different organization. Most require you to have a household income limit that is at or below the 500% threshold set by the U.S. Federal Poverty Guidelines. As you can see from the chart on your screen, the income limit goes up based on the number of people living in your household. Since these organizations are reliant on donations, they must on occasion close their programs to new applicants. But if you have been approved for assistance, you should continue to be covered for the time period or dollar amount of the grant you were initially awarded. To make it easier for you to know when a fund reopens, I suggest that you sign up for the PAN Foundation's new Fund Finder app. It's very quick to sign up, and they will send you an alert via email or text when any amyloidosis-related funds open back up. It eliminates the need for you to constantly check multiple websites for funding updates. If you are uninsured or underinsured, you should also check with the individual drug companies to see if they can offer you any assistance. Lastly, NORD, the National Organization for Rare Disorders, implemented 2 COVID-19 relief programs which can provide financial assistance to eligible patients, up to $1,000 annually. This funding will provide patients with financial assistance that may be utilized to support critical non-medical needs or assistance with insurance premiums and limited medical expenses. Please contact NORD directly to see if you qualify. Their contact info will be posted in the chat box for easy access. I'm now going to change hats and talk to you about the oneAMYLOIDOSISvoice website. In early 2019, the ASG collaborated with Rare Life Solutions to bring the world an excellent source of curated information on amyloidosis. When you go to oneAMYLOIDOSISvoice.com, you will see the registration page. You have the option to enter the main site from this page without joining, or to better protect your privacy, you can register and gain access to added features such as the social wall, where you can then chat with other members. The home page is currently shown on your screen, and if you look towards the top right, you will see our language selector menu with English, German, Japanese, Portuguese, and Spanish as options. When you move to the left-hand side of the page, you will see several different headings. Click on the Trusted Resources tab, and you will see a host of options. There's a video library, a repository of scientific articles, current news, a list of upcoming events, blogs, links to social media sites, and the list goes on from there. People and Places is a favorite of mine because it takes you to a comprehensive listing of physicians, hospitals, and treatment centers. There are 178 physicians listed, and if you click on their name, You will see a more detailed profile. When you click on Places, you will find 78 different hospitals and treatment centers listed. Off to the right of this slide, I have placed a peek view of the detailed listings that you would see when you click on the name of the center or hospital. Diagnosis Educator is the final tab I am showing, and it is where you will find information about diagnosis, treatment, and support. As you have seen, oneAMYLOIDOSISvoice is a great resource for you to utilize, and I hope you take the time to look over the site yourself. Thanks for your attention today, and I look forward to getting back out on the road for our face-to-face support group meetings. Muriel, back to you.
I'm sorry, I was muted. My husband wishes he could do that to me so often, you know. Anyway, Paula, it looks like the Leukemia Lymphoma Society might be the best bet for people that also have myeloma as their diagnosis. Is that the way it is right now?
Yes, you have to have a myeloma diagnosis, myeloma Waldenstrom's, some type of a lymphoma, leukemia, that type thing, concurrent with the AL in order to qualify for the funds from the Leukemia Society. But they are the only ones right now that have any funds available. Now, the COVID-19 fund through NORD does appear to still be open, but you do have to meet eligibility requirements for that, financial requirements. But give them a call if you have COVID-19, which I know we do have at least one patient that is going through it right now.
Thank you so much. Okay, now it's Bob Gibson, our Special Projects Director. See, we finally gave you a title that it seems to be sticking, Bob. And you're going to give us a registry update.
Yes, I am. And I'll keep it brief because I know we're a little short on time now. We do want to get to the Q&A. So let me begin by sharing my screen, and I'll take you briefly through what we're currently doing with the amyloidosis registry. So I want to preface this by saying that we are about to undergo a major systems upgrade on the patient registry. And that means that we're going to put a temporary suspension on any new registrations or any new registrants getting into the system. So keep that in mind. I'll talk a little bit more about that as I briefly go through the information herein. So as some of you who've already seen this presentation before or who have already joined the registry know, what we're trying to do is collect data on the natural history of the various types of amyloidosis. It's patient-reported data, known as PRO, or patient-reported outcomes, where you or your caregiver, whomever it might be, can fill in information regarding the symptoms that you have, your diagnosis and diagnosis history, the tests and treatments that you receive, your ongoing health, quality of life, and importantly also the demographics that you have, as well as, for particularly important for the different hereditary types of amyloidosis, your ancestry. So through all this, we're trying to create a huge repository of data that we can use as a resource for the entire community. It's not just AL, it's ATTR and all the other different types of amyloidosis on which we're collecting data, and we need your participation for that. The reason we're doing this is fundamentally for research purposes and in order to improve treatments and outcomes for all of us who share an issue with amyloidosis. Through it, we can do a number of things listed here. We can document different patterns of the progression of the disease and how they impact different communities who may have a similar type of amyloidosis. We can provide that data for research. We give researchers access to the registry. We can link those of you who registered to clinical trials. We can identify the best ways of caring for amyloidosis for the different types that you might suffer from. So what are the best practices within that? And we can also help to get a better grasp on the pathways to diagnosis. In fact, I just took a quick look at some of the data in the registry right now and found that the median time for diagnosis, the median number of physicians seen prior to diagnosis is almost 4. It's a little bit over 3. So that means that over half of people who are in the registry right now took more than 3 physicians to get to an accurate diagnosis of their amyloidosis. I know we all kind of know that. We've seen that ourselves, and it's common knowledge, but it's good to start to get data on just how long it is taking. Similarly, actually, I saw a data point that about 42% of the people on the registry right now were misdiagnosed prior to receiving the correct diagnosis of amyloidosis. So one thing I do want to emphasize to all of you, the data is private and secure and completely controlled by the person who's putting it in. So you as a registrant, you control your own data. You control who has access to it. Going from right to left on this screen, registry managers for ASG, they're all certified in protecting human research participants. So we know how to handle the data and your privacy. Within the registry itself, you control who accesses your data. You decide. It's all up to you on whether you want a particular researcher or a group of researchers to have access to it. It's up to you to decide whether you want to get notified of anything going on with trials, for instance. There's essentially a wall between your information and everything else. Your information is anonymized or de-identified. So there's nothing specifically within the information you provide that anyone who accesses the database can see that tells it that it is you. It's all basically generic information. And then for somebody to reach out and contact you, they need to go through the registry and will do so anonymously. And then you would decide whether or not you want to follow up with that researcher. And on the left side here, we're Genetic Alliance, which is our partner or a member of the consortium on this, has the platform. It's called the platform, or right now the program for engaging everyone responsibly. They're hosting over 32 different registries on this. And that's where we're doing the major system upgrade. Rather than being called Peer, it's going to be known going forward as Luna Peer, because we've partnered with an organization called Luna DNA. And we're providing a much more robust platform for the information in the registry. It's going to be much more user-friendly. It's going to be more secure. We're going to go to 2-factor authentication. And we'll have some new features. For example, you'll be able to enter any electronic health records that you choose. Plus, you can enter DNA information or add that from one of the, from 23andMe or from a DNA test that you've taken. This is all up to you, of course, and we will only implement these functions when we know that there's sufficient desire for it. But those capabilities will exist. And again, you will have control over them as well. Right now, just FYI, this hasn't been updated in a month or so, but we have well over 400 registrants right now. We're not going to be growing in the immediate future until we get the system upgrade, but most of them are light chain registrants at this point, as you can see at the bottom, over 50%. And finally, let me just reiterate the point that we've placed a temporary hold on new registrations until we get this, this massive upgrade done. It's going to require us to port all the information that we currently have in the registry to the new platform. You can check on the ASG website for updates on the timing of this. We are in queue, but we don't exactly know when the upgrade is going to start. And we don't know the exact timing for how long it is going to last. But I anticipate we're probably going to be taking over a month for us to get back to the point where we can have new registrations once again, but we'll notify you all about that. If you have any questions, you can email registry@amyloidosissupport.org. Paula Schmidt, our executive director, is also our fabulous manager of the amyloidosis patient registry. And somebody will get back to you, she or another, with any questions about it. And that's it for the moment. We look forward to getting this on the new platform and to making it much more robust and capable for everybody. Back to you, Muriel.
Thank you, Bob.